And we're live. All right.
Right.
Hi, everyone. This is Trevor, the CEO of Javelin, and I'm here with my buddy Nathan Snyder. Nathan, how you doing?
Hey, good. Hey, how are you guys? Good to meet you.
So, big announcement today. And by the way, guys, for some reason my camera's not working. I would love to show you my beautiful face right now, but the best I can do is show you the website for what we're about to talk about. So quite a day today, Nathan. We just announced this new competition we're going to be running this summer.
I know, I'm so psyched to see what happens. We've never done anything like this before, so this is going to be a really interesting social experiment that we're a part
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm super psyched about it. I think it's going to be successful, but I mean, who doesn't think their ideas are going to be successful? I mean,
of. Right.
that's the whole point of this tool that we created.
Yeah.
Um, so why don't we just kind of like go over it a little bit, and then we want to have some time for questions at the end. If you guys want to start typing your questions into the Google Plus community event page, we'll be happy to answer any questions. But I just want to kind of go over like what the hell this competition is and how it works. Um, so I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, what we're trying to do here is we have tens of thousands of members in this lean startup machine community around the world, and we wanted to come up with a way that we could bring everybody together to learn from each other and also to take the science of entrepreneurship to the next level, leveraging some of the things that QuickMVP can do that have not really been possible before. And the fact that you can use a tool that will tell you how much your customers will pay, how much it costs to acquire each customer, and even how big the immediate market size is a little bit mind-blowing to me. Nathan, what do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the methodologies that we've been teaching in lean startup machines all over the world are fantastic, and by including the use of QuickMVP into the resources and toolbox that entrepreneurs have to now test out their ideas, that this really leverages a lot of the different methodologies that are out in the field to test and experiment new ideas in one place, and then you also can compete for like a great prize. This is a super exciting opportunity.
Yeah, and actually the prizes that we're listing are kind of just the beginning. The fact that Right Ventures is going to invest in the first place team, I think just lends credibility to this process. The fact that they're not making this investment like for no reason. Jonathan wrote this long essay here about why he actually believes in this methodology and why this makes sense for him as an investment thesis.
Mm-hmm.
If this was my second rodeo and I had a fund or money to invest, I would invest my money too in companies that were able to prove themselves through this type of methodology. So what we're looking for you guys to do is we want everyone to use QuickMVP to do this. That way we have a basis for comparison for everybody. And you can really test as many ideas as you want in this competition. What we wanted to see is how your idea lines up across these 4 questions. And if you use we actually have a projections worksheet that we're going to give you guys. We already gave it in our last webinar, and we're going to give it to you again. But using this data, you can actually make a realistic projection using real data for what your business will look like in the next 3 to 6 months. And that's like insanely powerful to know that, as a matter of fact, you will get a specific amount of profit in your pocket every day, and whether or not it's going to grow every day as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And Trevor, I mean, you've been on both sides of this, and what's it been like to grow your business and grow QuickMVP from this standpoint? I mean, making decisions based upon real numbers versus like some kind of idealized future is a much different circumstance as an entrepreneur. So what's that been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I personally wish QuickMVP was around when I started. I mean, I wish LSM was around too when I started, because, I mean, you can wait when you're an entrepreneur. It's like you have to do so much. You're like trying to boil the ocean, and like you have a vision for the future, and that future is, it's a really long journey to get there. And to think that you can start small, and also not only just you can start small, but you can start small in a way that's going to give you profit in the short term, profit that you can reinvest inside your business, is like so powerful. In fact, one of the important things in growing LSM has been the fact that we are a revenue-first company. I mean, bringing in revenue wouldn't have been possible to grow as fast as we could, because if you're trying to raise money, I mean, if you're not in New York, Boston, San Francisco, any of these like startup hubs, and it's just so much harder to get investors. It takes so much time. I mean, raising money myself, it took a good amount of time and my focus away from building the business. And if you could just scale your entire business off your own revenue, I mean, that's like the dream. That's like, that's what Jonathan Siegel did, right? I mean, he didn't raise any money, and in 18 months he sold his company for over $10 million. And I think that's sort of the dream that every entrepreneur should go for. I mean, who wouldn't want to like have complete control over everything you do and then be able to have a huge exit from it? But even if you do want to raise venture capital, I mean, I think there's a really good point here for venture capitalists, is that this helps a business be in a really good position to raise money, right? The best time to raise money is when you don't need money. And so if you have a lot of money coming in your door, or you just have a lot of user growth, right? Even if you're not we could go back and forth about businesses that are like social networks that don't make money. I mean, I think it's really hard to start a social network outside of the Bay Area because you need a lot of venture capital to be successful. That's why you don't see many social networks outside of the Bay Area, like Twitter, Facebook, Google. They didn't make money for a long time, but they were also, where 80% of the world's venture capital is. And so just like having all the cards in your hand is like what we're offering entrepreneurs. And we're also offering people who maybe haven't taken that first step to start a business. We're giving you that kick right now. We're giving you that opportunity that you have an idea you're thinking about, maybe you're just in the shower, maybe you just had a dream last night and you have an idea. It takes literally 5 minutes to test it with QuickMVP, and the upside right now is just so huge from this competition. And
yeah, so Trevor, let's walk through a couple of the judging criteria, right? And let's give some people some practical tools to be able to make sure that they do their best to meet the criteria that they're going to be judged upon.
Right.
So, how do you test how big a problem is?
Right. So we're judging the problem based off of the problem interview scoring sheet that you guys will get if you sign up for QuickMVP. And what we're looking for is that you're going to get 20 people to sign up for your product. You're going to have a specific definition of your customer segment, and then we're going to see how big of a pain it is in that specific customer segment. We're going to see like a quantitative score for the 20 people that signed up for this product. Let's say you're just on QuickMVP. You can use the first form of validation. There's two forms of validation. The first form is testing interest level.
Right.
So you can just use that form of validation and then interview those customers, reach out to them, talk to them on the phone, get the data, fill out the scoring sheet, and then you have a specific answer for how big the problem is.
Right. So that would look like they get a user to their page, right? And then that user clicks on whatever call to action that they have on their landing page. They go to the second page, which is their login, or I'm sorry, where the customer is asked to put in their email address. And so from there, it gives people a direct line of access to those customers. And if the customer has the problem that the entrepreneur believes that they do, it's going to be really likely that they'll be able to get the phone with them and actually go through some of these qualitative questions. Right? Yeah. So is that how you envision the process going?
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you spend a week and you can't even get 20 people on the phone to talk to you about an important problem, it's probably not a very important problem to them. Right. And so, I mean, I'm actually on QuickMVP right now. You can see me inside the tool. And what I'm talking about for the problem is this type of validation right here. After you fill out your idea, you're just testing the interest level. Right? You're just trying to get people to sign up and give you their email address. And then you're trying to interview them and talk to them about the problem. I mean, this is probably going to be the heaviest lifting part of the whole process.
Right.
I mean, you could go to that last, even though it's really step number one. It's the thing that your idea hinges on most, whether you're solving a problem or not.
Right.
And I mean, some people may think, oh, of course I'm solving a problem. I have this problem myself. But I'm telling you guys, through Lean Startup Machine, those of you that haven't done it, 9 out of 10 ideas don't actually solve a problem.
Right. And I think another important piece of doing the customer interviews is that you might be close to finding customer problem fit, but by talking to people, it will give you, from their mouths, from the words that they actually say, how to sell to that particular demographic. right? So the patterns that you can find in qualitative research are so invaluable to actually directly marketing to potential users of your product.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, in doing those interviews, you're probably going to find a different problem that's bigger than what you thought.
Right.
And that's totally fine. You should totally go with that bigger problem and proceed to actually testing if people will pay for it, how much it costs to acquire them, and how big the market size is.
Great. Yeah, so is there anything more that you wanted to say about the problem interview piece of this?
Yeah, I also think that you don't necessarily have to do, like let's say you set up your QuickMVP page and you can't find anybody to interview. You could also just go to people in the real world and just try to talk to people that you think are the customer segment. So you don't have to think so linearly in that the only people you can talk to are people that you find through QuickMVP. Yeah. I would just, this is like a creative process, right? It's like if you're like writing a novel, like you might have a good outline for what's going to happen, but you're going to like explore the themes as you're writing it. And you're going to kind of improvise along the way as you think of things that are maybe better, or you come up with new insights, or you discover something new. Yeah. It's the same thing with doing customer development and getting an idea off the ground.
Right. Yep. And you might not also write the introduction until you go write something in the middle of the work, right, for a novel. So totally. Similarly, you can get some initial validation, then you go talk to people, or vice versa. So it is an iterative process, and it isn't a relational process, especially with your early adopters. I think that we've found in running lean startup machines is that when entrepreneurs do find their early adopters, they're really happy to be in relationship with the entrepreneur because they have a pain that the entrepreneur is willing to solve for them, and that's a really important thing to that individual. So it's an instant ability that you have to build relationship with people when you have problem customer fit.
Exactly.
So so another piece of the validation, right, is not just around the problem that they identified with, but it's how people will pay for it. So why do you find that that's really important for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, you could find like a great problem that people just aren't willing to pay for. I mean, all four of these questions fit together to define a business, right? So you want to have something people are going to pay for, right? The more they're going to pay, just the better for you, right? Yeah. And you may have a business like, say, something for teachers. We've had lots of businesses come in and test ideas for helping, K through 12 teachers do something. And they're just like, no, I don't pay for anything for my students. My school pays for it. And so, like, you're immediately multiplying the number of variables, and it becomes more complicated. And even though they have a big problem and you have a great solution, it just might not be economically viable. Or, if you can't acquire customers profitably, let's say like you are trying to create a dating website. Like dating websites, I mean, I just know this because I have a friend that runs a dating website, not real personally because I don't use dating sites, but they're always advertising. Like they're always using paid channels to get customers. And so those ads are going to be pretty competitive. And like if your ad channel is like really competitive, then it might cost you a lot of money to acquire a customer, and it just might be too much for you to get started. That might make that not viable. Or if the market's not big enough, like let's say you could make $100 from every customer, but you could only get one customer a day, or let's say one customer a month. Well, that's not going to be a very good business for you. So all three of these variables work together to form your business. And so part of the really exciting thing about this competition is not only that we're offering these prizes for entrepreneurs, but that we're going to be sharing the information and learning from each other. And so I'm super excited to see some really unexpected businesses that are extremely profitable or extremely successful, things that I would never have imagined before.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think in the example of the the app for teachers or app for students, the natural customer pivot is like to go to parents, not to go to administrators of schools, right? Because the sale that you're making to an administrator is a lot more difficult than it is a parent. So it's that kind of shifting around of the customer focus that you guys will be able to do, and that's where the discovery of the business can be found, and you can really find traction there by reinterpreting your customer segment based upon what the people that you want to serve are saying to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think let's talk a little bit more about the cost to acquire a customer, right? And let's talk about the model that you've built to help entrepreneurs project out kind of that ratio between how much it is to acquire a customer versus how much that they can make off of them
Yep.
through their lifetime.
And I think, like, as a starter, we should just explain to everybody who doesn't know this, but the price that a customer is going to pay for your solution,
right,
is not like you could get, let's say, one customer to pay $100,
yeah,
but you might be able to get 10 customers to pay $50. So it's like it's a moving scale, right?
right,
You need to find the balance between how much it costs you to acquire a user and how much you can charge them, right?
yeah.
Because if I had unlimited people that I could charge, I would go for the $100 one every chance because there's unlimited people, right? Instead of the $50 one. But you have a limited size of your market, and you have to figure out the balance between how much you're paying to get a customer to convert enough people that you make more money based on the price that you're charging.
Right.
And so with QuickMVP, right, when you create an ad, it shows you how many impressions you got and how many clicks you got and what your budget was, right? So, and then it shows you right here how many emails you got and how many button clicks you got. So we're basing the conversion rate on the button clicks, even though the emails collected is important too. Just because the way QuickMVP is set up, after they click the button, it's like the MVP is over. They know it's just a coming soon form, and they're going to filter information. They still want to sign up. But we believe that's validation for someone to click a button that says buy now for $100 or buy now for a certain price.
Yeah, yeah, and it's further validation that they've given an email address after that, right? So that's a better signal that there's an actual market.
Right. So, I mean, let me just open up my my spreadsheet here.
Yep.
Let's see here.
I put the link in the Dropbox too. No, I can't see it right now.
Okay.
We can see your screen. Okay, you just made your screen a lot larger.
Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, so I had 19 clicks, 29,000.
We can only actually see the template now. We can see your screen again.
Yep. So I'm just going to copy the information over.
Okay, great.
29,834. 834 impressions. And I got 519 unique visitors, 96 button clicks, 15 emails. Right? So with this information, we can figure out everything. And actually, let's just imagine this is actually a free product. So let's just imagine it's $1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The price. So basically, I'm going to show that 9 out of these number of impressions is this conversion rate. It's really small. I mean, that's probably what most of you are going to get.
Right. So that's a very small percentage. Okay.
0.3%.
Right.
Okay. And so I'm paying, for those clicks, I'm paying $150 for 9 clicks. Right, so I'm paying $16 a click.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, was it 19 clicks? Yeah, it was 19 clicks, not 9.
Yeah.
So $7.89 a click.
Mm-hmm.
And then my conversion rate on my landing page is 96 out of 519. So that's an 18% conversion rate.
Which is pretty decent, right?
Yeah, but obviously this is a free product. This is a free product, so.
Right.
And so my cost then, I believe, let's see, are we dividing? I think we just divided by that. Yeah, so $42 per user. Does that make sense? I divided the budget per click
Mm-hmm.
So for every click that I get from AdWords,
Yep.
I convert 18% of those.
Right.
Right. So that's like 1 in 5.
Right.
And so this is 5. This is like 5 times
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so, but off of those, I'm only making $1 per person.
Right. So your cost to acquire a customer is far, far higher than you actually make off of them.
Yeah. So this is customer acquisition cost, or C, and this is price they're willing to pay.
Right.
So those are the second two answers that we talked about. If you want to get the market size, I'll show you guys how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just share my screen. Okay, you guys see my screen?
Yep.
So I can't show it in here. I mean, we're going to add that soon, but basically when you create a Google ad, we'll give you the market size in this keyword volume here, right?
Yep.
So we're showing you the number of searches per day. So for that idea, which was it was actually a social network for airports.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had airport shuttle, and it's okay to pick, like, let's say, well, the conversion rate is based on your keywords, right? So you have to use the same keywords that you did in the experiment. You can't just like add keywords
Right.
and take the conversion rate on like a keyword you haven't tested.
Yeah.
So I had airport shuttle and flight status.
Yep. All right. So we're going to take. This is how we're measuring the market, right?
Yep. So I'm getting what is that? 10,216 searches per day, right? 10,216 searches per day.
For airport shuttle. Or you're combining
both,
this two?
for both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just switch it over again. And then I'm just going to multiply that by my my conversion rate on impressions.
Okay.
Because that's how many clicks I could get to my landing page if I'd maxed out the budget, and assuming that there's no competition. So the max number of searches I get is six clicks per day.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And like what we're looking for is we're trying to take a model of your business, right? So I want to see in 30 days, right? We're going to take the number of clicks you can get times 30. That's how many clicks you can get per month. And based on those clicks, at the conversion rate on your page,
18%, right?
18%. This has to be a number. This is how many customers I'm going to get. And then the profit per customer, which is simply the price they're willing to pay minus the customer acquisition cost.
Right.
And then the profit, let's make this profit per customer.
Yep.
It's a negative number. Profit per customer.
And profit per month, right?
Per month, yeah. And this is exactly what we're looking for, just profit per month. So it's just this times this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we're judging your business.
Right.
And it's just pure facts. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you can look at a Nielsen research report, and most of the time actually all of the time you're extrapolating that data into something that you're going to do in the future. And anyone that's started businesses knows that it's fiction. But this is based off of pure fact. And I think that's just so empowering to entrepreneurs to know for a fact, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. It's just something that it's not done today. It's not no one's doing that, and I think that's the thing that compels me the most, because I think it's going to really help people. Yeah,
totally agree. So let's talk about. So we've covered up to this point. So what the problem is, what is the problem, how to test that, how much will customers pay for the solution, how much does it cost to acquire each customer, and how big the market is, right? So these are really the criterion that we're going to be focusing on through the competition. We've created some great documentation for you guys to be able to check out how to do that, how we're proposing to do that. We would really advocate that you use some of the methods that we're describing here, because as we said, we're going to judge this within the use of QuickMVP. So yeah, Trevor, is there some other things that we wanted to cover here?
Yeah, let me actually just show people the actual templates for problem scoring and for
Great. And yeah, we have another webinar that we've done on this, but yeah, let's go through this quickly. Those up?
Yep.
Cool.
So here is the problem. Is this the problem scoring one that you guys are looking at, or is it the?
Yeah, it's the problem scoring one.
Great. So this is created by Ben Yaskovitz, author of Lean Analytics. He's the man, and you're just basically filling in 1 or 0 for each interview you do, based on these questions. It's so simple. And the power of this as well is that like nobody can game this competition. Nobody can like lie in this competition and win, because we can just interview any of these people ourselves, and we would have to get the same results,
right,
based off of doing this scoring, right? So it doesn't matter, like like there's no fiction again,
right,
as I said before.
And any investor is going to ask for customer references, right? So and if this is in the real world, you're going to raise venture capital money, they're going to be like, hey, we want to see your cap tables and your
references.
Your references, right? So this is creating a simulation, but it's a very real simulation of what it's like to do this and raise venture capital money, and but we're doing this in a much smaller scale to allow you to increase your odds when you do go out and do this for real.
Yeah, I mean, venture capital isn't required to start a business. I think we're just trying to say like that you should do this no matter what. Like there's no situation in starting a business where you shouldn't do the exact exercise we're talking about. And then can you guys see? Let's look at the projections worksheet.
We can't see that yet.
Yeah, one sec.
So, but and I think crafting these questions is something that we could stimulate some dialogue around in the community forum. So, that template that you saw right there, that the questions aren't structured by the way they're going to get the most valuable data. So feel free to ping us on the community forum or right now, and we'll actually address how to structure those questions in the most effective way.
Yeah, and one of the most fun things about this competition is that Nathan and I are going to be interviewing some of the top entrepreneurs that apply these analytical methods to starting their businesses, like on a weekly basis. So,
yeah, I
mean, this isn't just like this is like so much more than just, let's say, a competition. It's an opportunity for everybody to learn. And so this is the projection spreadsheet. It has all the exercise we just did impromptu has all the boxes here, and it shows you how to answer the 4 questions. And then it actually gives you a projection for your business, like right here in a graph. And so the steeper this angle and the higher it goes, the better your business. Right? It's just that straightforward. I mean, there's no ambiguity.
Yeah.
And the business that has the highest, steepest curve here is going to win $5,000 investment from Right Ventures. That's what it is.
Yeah, Trevor, can you give the audience a little bit of like a taste of how like wild this is to actually have a venture capitalist investing in a competition like this? I mean, this isn't a normal thing that a venture capitalist would invest in, right? You've been through this process a couple of times, and that's one of the reasons that you've actually created this experimentation in this community, is so that we can actually all partake in this together and learn from each other's successes and failures.
I mean, there are some examples of very few examples of investors putting up an investment for a competition, but I think that it's like really, really rare. I mean, we've definitely tried it for LSM, but just validating the problem takes 3 days at an LSM, right?
Yeah.
It's a really big task, and it requires a lot of pivoting, but it's just not enough to make an investment in a startup. But when you know that that they can acquire customers repeatedly, and and like all these risks, like we're taking out the 4 biggest risks in every business.
Right.
So for an investor that is very metrics driven and analytical, this is a no-brainer, and they're going to learn. Like Jonathan I think he's super pumped to learn from everybody that's participating in this competition, to see what they do. I mean, there's just like, we've never given people a tool like this before. We've never had all of these things come together in such a way that we could create 1,000 different companies and see the results of something like this at scale. I mean, this is massive.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so excited. Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Well,
all right.
Any questions in the community, or do you want to sign off, or?
Let's see. Let me look here. Yeah, maybe we'll just give people a second to ask some questions. So, guys, if you have questions that you want us to address here, we're glad to do so for the next couple of minutes. If not, we'll definitely be active in the Google Plus group, and be glad to help you out with anything that you need. People are still checking in, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna post this video, and the majority of the views obviously happen after we record this. So
right.
Awesome, Nate. This has been great. And,
yeah. Cool. Thanks, Trevor.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. We will see you guys next time.
All right. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.